So hello and welcome to the episode. Today I'm going to talk about the ownership of my own 2023 Scram 411. I've had the bike 3 months. I've covered 1,000 kilometers, so that's just over 700 miles. I've used it in all weathers, as you can see. It's now autumn, the roads are rubbish in the UK. I've used this bike daily for commuting, all sorts of conditions. As I said, I've owned 26 motorcycles, so I think I have a fairly good idea about what a motorcycle should deliver. I am a trained mechanic by trade. I do all the maintenance myself. You don't have to be a trained mechanic to own one, but I understand the fundamentals of it, and I truly believe in this engine. I love what Royal Enfield are doing, making these old school bikes, modernising them to give you that reliability, and it allows you to connect with your motorcycle. I've done the first service on this, and I have got a video on that, just in the tappets. It sounds daunting. There's only 2 valves, you don't have to take off the rocker cover, there's just little inspection caps. It's an easy job. Honestly, it's an easy job. So don't worry about that. Service intervals, don't worry about that. I've got you covered. Right, so let's talk about the bike now. We've got that out of the way. I'm going to pull over now. We're going to have a little walk around. We'll get to the best bit, because, you know, when you're looking for a bike, you might be interested, or you own one of these and you just can't get enough of them. We're going to have a little walk around and talk about the specs. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the specs, because that's boring, isn't it? You know, you want to know how it feels on the road. It gives a shit about what torque it delivers at certain revs. You don't care about that, do you? You might do, but you ain't buying this bike for that reason, are you? So let's get into it. I'll pull over to my usual spot. This bike is absolutely filthy. It's not your typical review. This is a proper owner's honest review. So it's not going to be all sparkly, apologies for that. It's also a very windy morning. Right, let's have a look. There she is in all her glory. Amazing machine. Value for money. Right, I'm going to switch the other camera up and we'll have a chat. Right, so there it is. We'll switch to the DJI Pocket 2. It is mucky. Apologies for that. But it's a lovely machine. Fills you with confidence. Such a neutral rider position. I absolutely love it. It's probably no surprise to you. I've owned it for 3 months now. It's pretty good for me. And I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Bikes I've owned, I've had a GS 1200 not so long ago. I've had a couple of them. So, you know, I'm not always limited to this bike. I've got a full license. But yeah, I still choose a smaller capacity bike. Why? Why do I choose a small capacity bike? Well, with today's economical crisis, fuel's going up, food's going up, what are you going to do? Try and save money wherever you can. And this bike, straight out the showroom, is value for money. So cheap. They're around about £4,500 at time of filming. May vary, but you can get some fantastic deals on these. Excellent on fuel. I can get 185 miles on a full tank of fuel. That's with the light coming on. From light to light, 185 miles. That is phenomenal, isn't it, really? And it's not really lacking power. It can get to 60 really easy. It will cruise along at 60, no problem, all day. Top speed is 80 miles an hour. It will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 10 seconds, which realistically is enough. Right, let's have a look at the dash. Fuel gauge at the top there. This is from the Meteor 350. We've got trip A, trip B, mileage. Got no rev counter on this. Got a gear indicator. We've got a clock. We have the trip navigation. The only use for this, it's got a nice clock on it. The navigation is pretty crap because it tethers off your phone. If you ain't got signal, you are screwed. I've used this before and got completely lost. It had a hissy fit and it sent me in all sorts of directions. So I don't use that anymore. If I'm going to use my phone, I'll just put a mount on there and use that. But it's a nice addition. It looks nice on the clocks and it is a fantastic display. Nice and clear. Which is one of the negatives about that though. It's pretty bright, so when you're riding at night it does shine in your eyes. But you can get a cover with a matte finish on it and that stops that glare. Got all the usual controls here. Very good quality, not cheap and nasty. Got a nice solid plastic feel. Got the kill switch and all that. You've actually got hazards on here. You've got no USB plug there like you do on the Meteor, but that is not an issue. Got one-piece seat, whereas the Himalayan's got two-piece seat. Don't make no difference. This is actually more comfortable in my opinion. As I said, my wife has got a Himalayan 411. Just open the seat, show you what's under there. Toolkit, lovely toolkit. Probably one of the best toolkits manufacturers offer on this, because you can adjust the chain. There's every tool in there for every occasion that you'll need on the road. You can do loads with that toolkit. Got the relays in there. People say about the relays playing up, but I've never had an issue. I've had an interceptor in the past, never had issues with relays. Battery in there. See, the welds have got a lot better. People say they look like pigeon shit, but I think that looks alright, to be honest with you. Judge for yourself, really. Look pretty good to me. Alright, let's put the seat back on. Nice and easy. Easy as that. Let's have a look around the frame. Just show you the welds on the frame a bit closer. See? I don't think they're that bad. They have come a long way. For a budget bike as well. And what you also get... Oh, you also get... I get so excited. My voice is going higher pitched. Right. Let's stand over this side of the wind. You get a sump guard as standard. You get an oil radiator guard as standard. You get a fender extender as standard. All these are additional extras you'd have to buy if you were buying a popular European or Japanese bike. Alright, let's talk about the lights. We've got an LED stop tail light. Ordinary filament bulbs for the indicators, which ain't a big deal because they are replaceable. We can just change the bulb. We've got a halogen headlight which keeps that retroness. I must admit there is a downside to this. The light is not that bright, but you can get halogen bulbs that are brighter. It's got an LED position lamp, which is strange because it looks a bit weird because it's really bright. It's like a bright blue. Single disc, which is plenty of stopping power. Bribery brakes, which are Brembo, made in India or wherever, but they are fantastic brakes. Single disc as well, so you've only got to buy one set of pads. If you need a disc, you've only got to buy one disc, so that's cheaper in that aspect. You get a chain guard as well. I've noticed as I've done more miles on this. I say around about 500 miles. The exhausts open up and they sound a lot beefier, a bit deeper. It gargles, it pops after gear changes. Does sound pretty cool. So the negatives, I would say, the exhaust, the quality of it. Look what's happened to the finish. Not great, but you can probably clean that up with a wire wool or a polish. Bit of auto sole. I haven't tried it myself. No center stand, which is a bit annoying, whereas the Himalayan has. Another downside is sometimes the clocks fog up. They steam up a little bit around here. But I've owned a couple of Royal Enfields. Jodie's does it. My Interceptor did it. I think that's just a thing that they do. They don't play up, they just fog up a little bit. The KTM did it dramatically. That done that on the dials, the headlight, the stoplight, the indicators, everything fogged up on that thing. That's the UK for you. It's very damp over here. But yeah, not too bad. So I'm going to get on it. We'll talk about the height and all that. We'll get some action shots of me riding it. I'm a big guy. I'm 16 stone, but I'm quite short, 5'9". Just to give you a bit of an idea. Oh yes, I wound up the preload because the preload was very soft and had a lot of sag. So if you're a heavy guy, wind up the preload. Handles so much better with stiffer rear on the road anyways. I've also took this off road. I've got a couple of green lane videos on it, so if you're interested in that, check them out. The seat height is a little bit lower than the Himalayan. This is 795 millimeters, which is not too bad. If you're a little bit shorter, this is the best bike to get over the Himalayan. You can also wind down the preload and gain another 5mm if you are a little bit concerned. But 5'9", 29 inch inner seam, just to give you a little idea, and I can flat foot it both sides. Right, let's jump on it. As I said, we've had enough waffle, waffle, and we'll have a little ride. Catch you in a bit. Right, so as you can see, this is what I look like on it. Very comfortable, such a very natural position to sit in. It's like you're sitting in an armchair. It really is so comfortable. The seat's comfortable as well. I sat on this for 3 hours on end, not an issue. So let's go for a little drive boy, so you can get to see what I look like riding it. Oh, that's a nice bird. I don't know what bird it is. Right. Easy to turn around. Do like a bloody Austin Powers here. Nice little ride by for you. And that's what it sounds like. So easy to turn around, as I said before, multiple times. After owning the GS, I really appreciate small bikes like this. I really do. There you go. Just coming in. I can't get this to follow. I don't know why it ain't following. The camera, that is. Easy to get off. Stand's got a nice positive click to it, a very strong spring. Let's try follow mode. Follow me, you little bastard. Why ain't the follow working? Follow that. Follow that bike there. Follow it. Are they going to walk this way? Nah, is it working? Nah. Right, let's have enough. I've had enough playing now with the old camera. We'll get on it, have a little chat about it. So I'll catch you in a bit. Let's get a photo. The lovely Scram. Still right back. Let's get going, shall we? Right. Back on the road. Back on the road again. Cringe. Oh, yes. Ah, amazing. Down to a 30. Yes, easy as that. See, with the current road rules and then reducing speed limits in Wales, they've adopted the 20 mile an hour. 20 is plenty. You don't need fast bikes, do you? Put it this way, this bike's not going to put you in prison for going over 150 mile an hour, is it? It just ain't going to happen. You don't sacrifice the fun. You don't need a fast bike. No matter how fast your bike is, your brain will get used to that. Before you know it, you're going a lot quicker than you think. Dangerously quick. Talking about windshields, on my wife's Himalayan 411, the windshield is terrible. It's worse than this. There's no windshield on this Scram, as you can see. It's clean air. So there's no turbulence. It's just natural, fresh air. But with the Himalayan, the way that screen is tapered, that grabs the wind and smacks it round your face like that. Not great. So in fact, it's probably better to take the screen off your Himalayan. You should get a bigger one, a massive one, or just take it off. I've got a video on the Scram versus the Himalayan. If you want to check that out, look at my other videos. What else can I chat about on this motorcycle? Vibrations are non-existent. People that say they vibe a lot and they're a tractor, I don't know where that comes from. It's a tractor in the fact it pulls in any gear. Not ridiculously fast, but it just seems to go. You kind of forget what gear you're in. You don't really need to change gear much. I have never once looked for a 6th gear. This has got a 5-speed gearbox, and not once have I felt like I needed another gear. It just, the ratio with the engine, the long stroke, it just chugs it along. So it's great in that aspect, and I think that is good for learners as well, or people that are coming back to riding. Such a nice gearbox stroke engine to live with. It's not a chore changing the gears all the time. Gearbox is not the clunkiest, it's not the smoothest. I have force neutraled it between 4 and 5 sometimes, which can be a bit daunting, because when you're going about 50 and you accidentally pop it into no man's land between 4 and 5th and it revs its tits off, that's not a good thing. My Interceptor done that as well, so I think that's probably down to me not pushing the gear lever up enough, you know. So that is probably not an issue with the gearbox. User error. But I'm used to a GS 1200, and that is the clunkiest gearbox I've ever ridden. It's got a smoother gearbox than my NC750X though. Basically what I'm saying is, it's not abnormal, it's nice to live with, it's not a bad gearbox, and the vibrations are brilliant. Barely feel them, and the bars nice and smooth. A lot of vibrations in the mirror. It's not a high frequency vibration, and I think the high frequency vibrations are the most annoying. AKA KTM 390, that has got very high frequency vibrations. I previously used quad lock, and that actually damaged my camera on my Samsung, which I've owned for 3 years, and that was the bike at my 26 bikes that finished off my camera, the KTM, so thanks for that. Bearing in mind I used to own a Harley Sportster. So I'm really loving the bike. It's ease of use, it's good on fuel, cheap to run. You've got so many colours to choose from. Lovely colours. This is Silver Spirit. I love this colour. They're in stock as well. You haven't got to order it and wait bloody 6 months for it. They're on the shelf. On the shelf. So like they're toys in a supermarket. They are ready. They're on the workshop floor, ready to take. do their pre-checks and that, you can probably get one within a week. You walk in there, put a deposit in, you'll get it straight away. Well, at least that is the situation here in the UK from the experiences I've had in East Anglia at Moonrakers. Lots of stock there. Servicing is very, very cheap. That's got a washable filter at the bottom, which is a pickup strainer, and a lot of bikes you can't clean that. It's just part of the inside the engine. It's a bonus that you can take that off and give that a good clean. It also has a paper filter, which is fantastic because it's tiny, it's cheap. So you've got two filters there, filtering out the oil. It only takes 2 litres, so you haven't got to buy a big 4 litre or a gallon worth. You can only buy 2 1 litres, which is cheaper. They're often on offer. Oil was cheap, semi-synthetic. That's all you need on these old school bikes. It's good to stay with this old school oil air-cooled stuff. You ain't got to worry about the bloody coolant. You ain't got to worry about radiator fans not kicking in. You're saving on weight, no water pumps. And the Euro laws is killing these air-cooled motorcycles. Hence why the new Himalayan is water-cooled. They probably can't get this through Euro 6, unfortunately. So hold on to these air-cooled. They are a classic, unique engine. Tried and tested. They are bulletproof, aka you can throw anything at them and they just keep on going. The valve design, the reason why you have to adjust or check the valve tappets, I'll get my words out in a minute, every year is because it's an old school design, but it's a trusted bulletproof design. I'm just going to pop in here and get some lunch, so I'll catch you in a bit. Lovely, got myself a nice meal deal. Excellent value for money. Right, let's get back to the video. Right, so we don't have traction control on this. We only have ABS, which you don't need traction control. You definitely don't need that. You'd struggle to spin this wheel up. Like if you whacked open the throttle on a corner and it was wet, yeah, you would. But who is going to do that by accident? Well, I'm going to talk about the negatives. I don't really like talking about bad things about motorcycles. I try and see the good in everything. So the negatives, certainly nitpicking really. The dials steam up, which is a little bit annoying. We don't get a centre stand on the Scram. The throttle has got a lot of travel to it, from 0 throttle to 100% throttle. So you're constantly twisting your hand all the way around, which can cramp up. That is why I've got the cramp buster on my grip. Thank you very much, sir. Not a major issue. Negatives, you've not got adjustable clutch or brake. Stalled it. First time I've ever stalled it. The mirrors are pretty crap, I'll be honest, but a lot of people change these. I mean, in the sense that they're really easy to knock and catch, and they move a lot. They don't really stay in position, they're not that strong, and they're heavy old bulky things. I love you, gentlemen, thank you. Another reason why I do like the bike though, it's great at filtering. So I can't think of any other negatives, I'll be honest. I really can't. I honestly can't think of any more negatives. Thank you, sir. It's a great bike. I'm very fussy when it comes to bikes. I work in the trade, I've worked in all sorts of trade. I've done like quality control. So I pick faults in everything. I wouldn't say the service intervals with the valve adjustment is a bad thing, because they're so easy to do. Like with modern engines, you've got shims. I know you only have to do them every, whatever, 10,000, 12,000 miles. But it's a major job. It is a major job. They're taking apart the whole top end of the engine. They're taking all the chain out. Disturbing so many things. There's so much that could go wrong. And it costs a lot of money. £700,000. As opposed to just adjusting it yourself with this old school design. It's wet today, it's muddy, the stock tyres are great, fill you with confidence. Not once have I felt like I've been on the edge, you know. I think that's about it. To summarise it, it's a great bike, fantastic value for money. If you live near a local dealer, just try one, take one out on demo, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Just the way it feels, you know, when you're riding it, the sound of the engine, the feel of it, gives you a different sense. It's really satisfying, it really is. Gives you a lot of charm. Very good for your mental health. So, on that note, I'm going to end the video. Thank you for watching if you've made it to the end. I do appreciate that. If you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up, it does help the channel. Feel free to subscribe. More of a vlog channel really. Do a lot of stuff with the wife. Not always motorcycle related. You never know what you're going to get with this channel. So definitely worth adding us on your sub list. So until then, I've been Nick and I'll catch you on the next episode. Ride safe, guys.